Welcome in, welcome in. I have got a great project for beginners. I'm in the Valentine's mood. And I have got the perfect thing for beginners of watercolor. We are going to do a monochromatic Valentine card. Now this I just did in my sketchbook just to test it out to see if it would look okay, and I think it looks really darling. It's a little off center and everything, and I'm not quite finished with it, but I got enough going to where I said, okay, this will be the perfect project for a beginner. Now I have a card here. It's one of those that you can just put in an inkjet printer and you print it, you'll fold it. It's already got the score and everything. But I tried one out and it will take the watercolor just fine, so I don't have to worry about that. And in order to, sorry about all that my chair is screaming because I'm wiggling in it. But in order to get the heart in the center, I just cut out from sticker paper a heart and I took the back off. This is the heart that I used for my, in my sketchbook one. But I just trimmed this just a little bit smaller, so we're just going to eyeball it and try to get it as centered as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then you're going to stick that down on your card, and you can use watercolor paper and just cut it to the size of a card and fold it. But I just wanted to go ahead and do this. I didn't feel like cutting watercolor paper today. So I've got my little sticker, just trying to get around the edges because I want to keep that area white. It acts like masking fluid. And I'm just going to use my little red from this little set. I love this little set. And I love the reds in it. And I'm going with that a little bit cooler red. And I'm just using a golden maple detail brush. This is a size 0. And what we're going to do is we are just going to paint just flowers, and we're just going to randomly put them on there with no rhyme or reason. And you're just doing little petal marks around an imaginary center. And you can do 4 or 5. And then you just place them randomly on the paper. That's what we're going to do first. Now this is a good project for beginners because it'll help you, just using one color will help you create a more harmonious painting. You don't have to get all worked up about the color mixing or choosing colors. You choose one color at the beginning and that's all you use. That way you can just focus. You can just focus on values, harmony, balance, things like that. So it's really a perfect beginner project. So I'm just going to put in these little flowers. I don't really have any rhyme or reason. I want some of them to sort of spill off the page. You can make some larger and some smaller. And what really inspired me to do this style is I have been trying to refresh my home. I've been buying tons of stuff off of Facebook Marketplace and just kind of looking on Pinterest and trying to just look at, some decor ideas that I like. And I could not get away from the amount of chinoiserie that people are decorating their homes with. And I was like, oh, that is so pretty. Now, a lot of the chinoiserie is blue, but I have some red transferware that I want this to sort of go along with. I love red. Red is my favorite color. If you didn't know that, now you do. I love, love, love the color red. It is my favorite color. I'm not big on blue, but I do like blue. But red just has that little bit of pizzazz, that warmth, that little bit of danger that I just love. So that is what inspired me, is all the beautiful chinoiserie. A lot of it was blue, the ones that were monochromatic. Of course, not all chinoiserie is monochromatic. Some of it is just beautiful scenes, like exotic birds, exotic flowers, cherry blossoms a lot, or really intricate design. So I'm trying to go with the intricate design-ish here. Not too intricate, because again, we are trying to sort of tailor this for beginners. So you'll want to cover this whole background with your little flowers. And, you know, even if some of them are a little bit lighter, like, you know, this one, I'm running out of paint. And so it's a lot paler. That adds to the charm. That adds to the charm. Run a few of them off the page. Some of your flowers, just run them either up to the page or right off the page. That just gives it a more natural sort of look. Unless you want a border. Now you can take that off and have a white border on the outside as well. I didn't do that. I didn't really care for it. But that's one way that you can do it. Now, Chinoiserie has been around, I think, let me think, has it been around since the 18th century, I think? Now, don't quote me on that, but I think it's been around since the 18th century. And I think Chinoiserie is actually a French word that means Chinese style. And it started in Europe, and what it was, it's not even actually Chinese style. It's actually what Europeans thought Chinese style of art would look like. So it's a European interpretation, let's put it that way. So it's perfect for mixing. As far as in home decor, it's perfect for mixing and matching with modern decor. It just sort of blends in seamlessly. It has that timeless quality, and it really has a rich look. Maybe because at that time, maybe only wealthy people could afford it. I don't know. I have to look into that. Don't quote me on that either. I might be making that up. Sometimes I make stuff up. But you can count on 99.9% of what I say to be true. Sometimes I make stuff up if I don't know. I'm just joking. I'm joking. I kid. Alright, let's get these little flowers we're just working on. And you'll want to overlap some of them on your heart, even though you don't want your heart to be, you don't want that to seep under your heart if you can help it. But you want it to paint over it so that you'll have that distinct line. You'll have a little border going around. So, you know, make sure that you paint a few little flowers like they're kind of poking out from under the heart as well. And you can make your flowers have 5 petals, 4 petals, 3 petals. Mix and match, I don't care. It's your painting. It's your chinoiserie. But this is just so easy. It's a really, really good beginner project because, like I said, it takes all the aggravation of choosing a color palette, color mixing. You know, you get to focus on the design and values, and that just makes it so much more simpler. But at the end, you'll still have a beautiful piece of artwork. It just simplifies it so much. And we're doing just simple flowers. There is nothing to these flowers, nothing whatsoever. It's just little marks going around an imaginary center on the paper. And we're just randomly placing those. Then once you get all of your flowers painted on there, I'm going to switch over to my silver black velvet number 2 because it has a better point on it. And I'm going to just draw like some vines in between the flowers just to connect the flowers up. You certainly can leave them just like this, but I just think it'll look a little bit better if I go ahead and link all those up. Oops, sorry about that. I dropped my scissors. So that's what we're going to do, and we're going to just use the very, 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 very tiptoe of our brush, like the very point to do that. So I'm just barely, barely, barely going to press on my paper, and then I'm just going to do some curves and just connect these. You could even add If you want to add some leaves here and there, let's see how that looks. I might do that, I might not, I don't know. But for now I'm just going to connect all of my flowers with just really fine vines. So I'm just using the very, very tip of my brush with the most lightest of pressure. And just connect those flowers. And I think I might do some leaves. Let's see. But my leaves are going to look funny. How about if we just do little round leaves? Just little tiny round ones. That'll be okay. Just sort of, we want them to be shorter. We don't want them to look like flower petals. So in some of the empty spaces, we'll just do like little dots on either side of the vine. Yeah, that looks okay. So then you want to do that. Fill up some of those empty spaces. Keep connecting all your flowers with your vines. Using the lightest of pressure, because you don't want the lines to be too thick. And then once you get all of that done, you're going to let that dry. And just keep adding some little leaves here and there, just to fill up some of the empty spaces. I mean, like I said, the leaves, the little leaves are optional. The vines and the flowers are not. We're just connecting all these little flowers. And you can add some leaves in the empty spaces, like I said. And they are optional, you don't have to. And some leaves. You can even add more leaves if you want than I'm adding. I'm just doing a few here and there. Just to fill up a little bit of the spaces that I see that probably could use a little bit more. You can even do extra vines if you feel like you need those. Now we are going to let this dry. We're going to let this dry and we're going to remove our heart. We don't want to smudge anything, so we're going to let it dry. So I've taken off my sticker heart, and what I want to do is make this have a border around it to define it just a little bit more. So I've mixed up some more of my red, and I'm just going to do little scallops right on the edge of this heart. And that really brings the heart into focus. It defines it a little bit better and makes it stand out. Because you want to be able to see it amongst all of those flowers there. So let's just finish doing the scallops, and I will return shortly. So I have the heart, the little scallops painted around that heart. And now I'm going to do a design inside of the heart. Some roses, something really simple. We're going to keep it simple. Nothing too crazy. But first I am going to draw I want to do like a little banner, and I want it to say love on it. So I'm going to try to sort of draw that in. And I think that's pretty close to center. It's a little high on one side. I'm not going to get too worried about it. And then I want to do some flowers. So let's do like a rose here. A nice big fluffy rose. And then do one that's maybe closed a little bit. And then do another big fluffy rose on this side. That's more open. Let's do a few leaves here. Yeah. And then we're going to do some leaves around it. And I think that looks pretty good. So now with the red again, we are going to get a little bit more red in here. And I'm just going to start putting in the petals, just doing little C strokes, leaving some white of the paper between the petals so that it looks more like a rose. Giving some highlighted areas. Then we'll just do this rose a little bit darker with a little bit more, less water and more paint, more pigment. But again, we are going to leave some of that white in there. We want it to look like it's just opening up. And then our other rose over here, we'll start with dark in the center. Making sure that we leave plenty of that white just sort of shining through the paper to look like highlights and to give it some dimension. Now we're going to do the leaves. Some stems. Need some more leaves right there, I think. This is drying a little bit, so I'm going to come back in with a little bit more of that dark color before it completely dries, just to put that into some areas so that we'll have a good healthy balance of lights and darks. Darken up some of these leaves. I want my leaves to be a little bit darker. And I want to paint my banner. I want this under here to be dark because of course it's in the shadow. It's where it's curved. So I want that to be a little dark, and then A little bit dark here where they fold over, where the ribbon folds over on itself. Then I'm going to just get some clean water and just blend that out to the edge on that little ribbon. And I'm going to do some ribbon. I'm just paint that little ribbon at the top. There. Now I'm going to let this dry. Now that I've let that dry, I am going to come back in on the roses and just do another layer in some of the spots to give a little bit more dimension. Darken up those leaves a little bit too, some of the leaves. I really want those leaves to be dark. There, now we got sweet little roses. And I'm going to take my gel pen, my white gel pen, and write love. Now my handwriting is not good, y'all. There we go. Of course, you can write it any kind of way you want, but now we have a cute little Valentine's card in the Chinoiserie-Style, monochromatic, easy for beginners because you don't have to worry about color mixing. You don't have to worry about any of the complicated stuff. You just pick one color and then you can just focus on the composition, focus on your shapes, and it's just so much easier. I hope you have enjoyed making this sweet little Valentine card, and if you have, please give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and if you want more bonus content related to my YouTube videos, then consider joining my Patreon. It starts at $3 a month. Y'all, happy painting and thanks a lot.